Right, welcome. So today we are going to be installing the first visual mods to the project Fox. Now, I don't want to take too much of your time. It is the festive season. So with those being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. So there's something missing from the car, and that is mud flaps. So we got a brand new set from Goldwagon. Once again, Goldwagon, please sponsor. So we got a brand new set, and this is what we are going to be installing today. When it comes to the mud flaps, well, once you get your package, once you open it, well, you should have about 5 things, in fact, and that is going to be your 2 rear mud flaps. Now those are your mud flaps that have city already stamped on them. And question, should I leave the city on there, or should I actually get rid of it and make it just a full black mud flap? Let me know in the comment section what you think. Then we have the 2 front mud flaps, and then finally it should come with its own hardware, but we are gonna add something to the hardware to just make it better. So now with the mud flap, got a bit of an issue. See the holes on the mud flap, and they're already pre-existing holes on the fender from previous mud flaps. So what we're gonna do is, if we take the mud flap and we try to line it up there, right, top hole lined, then the bottom hole isn't lined, even the side one. Then if you try to line the bottom hole, right, that's lined, that's not lined, that's definitely not lined. If we look at the actual fitments of the mud flap, you can see it's off, because this is what it's supposed to be looking like, and it's when it lines. So there is a big gap. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take Tipex, use the existing holes, because I don't want to drill, I'm not in the mood to drill into the fender, so that's gonna save me time there. So we're gonna take Tipex now from the back, mark where the existing holes are, and we'll just drill through the mud flap and we'll work it like that. So I finished marked them. You can see where majority of it is, aiming the center. So this is where the top hole is gonna be, then the bottom one is gonna be over here. This is where it needs to be. So this is now, where's this thing? So these are gonna be the new holes. This one, not really worry about. It's more these. Okay, so now the new holes have been drilled. New holes have been drilled to match with the fender. Instead of drilling the fender, drill the mud flap. As you can see, if we line it up, you can see, right? We can see focus. If we let focus, you can see there's the hole there. You can see straight through. Same story at the bottom. You can see straight through the mud flap. Here we go. So the answered. That's what we got. Now what you can also do, you can use a screwdriver, but it's not going to be as how do I say, precise. So that is something you just do need to remember. Now for hardware, we're going to be using the hardware that they supplied. I don't know if you can see, but it's just see here, it's a screw and a washer. And we're also going to be using speed clips. Too much light here. Too much exposure. Exposure. We're gonna be using speed clips too to just help it now. We start putting it on. So yeah. Now when you do go to install a mud flap, well, what I did, I took the screw with the washer and I threaded it through the mud flap first before putting it into position. So this way it just made it a lot easier to then just grab my screwdriver and start rotating. And once I gave it a few rotations, then I grabbed the trusty speed clip and held it in place, and then from there I just tightened the screw and just kept going until I felt, okay, you know what, it is firmly secure in place. And that's when I knew, okay, That is one screw done, and that is the mud flap partially on. Oh, sunny everyone. Now for this lower screw, we're gonna follow the same procedure as the first one. So we're gonna grab our screwdriver, rotate the screw a little bit, then we're gonna grab our speed clip. Once the speed clip is in place, with one hand hold the speed clip in place and rotate the screw with the other, because if you just try to rotate it without holding the speed clip will just turn. So you do have to hold it in place, and once you do, you will have now your mud flap secured, because the second one is as well. And as you can see, I was just testing out the flexibility now with the mud flap being in place to see, how bendable it actually is. And then I lastly grab the screw that now holds the third hole, that now holds the mud flap fully together, because as you saw, as I was bending, it was folding out. So to avoid that, you gotta put in the third screw that goes in right there. And after screwing it in, well, it was time to see and test out the flexibility now with the mud flap being fully attached to the vehicle. And to be honest with you, not bad at all, considering the fact that I didn't boil these mud flaps or anything. They flexed really well. Now I don't know if you can see properly, but the first time I saw the car with the mud flap on, it honestly just, it changed the look of it. I mean, look, when putting the mud flaps on, you don't have to take the front wheels off. Well, you can just turn your steering wheel and you will have enough space to actually work. Now with me, we had the car still in the air at this point, so I thought, you know what, let me just grab this opportunity and put the front mud flaps on. So with doing that, you can see we're gonna move on to the other side. But I want to hear from you guys. How do you feel about Morcon? Do you prefer Morcon without mud flaps, with mud flaps? Let me hear in the comment section down below. Now when it came to drilling the mud flap, well, I used a drill bit that was just big enough to get the screw to actually just start threading through. Now I didn't want to use too big of a drill bit, because then it's going to be too big of a hole and the screw is going to be floating in the hole, and then your mud flap is going to have a lot of movement. So you got to find the right build to get the right hole. That way your screw will fit in and you will have a tight fit. So same process as before. Top screw is the one I always go with first, and then the bottom screw, and lastly the third screw that then goes into the body of the car. From there, my father then decided, you know what, let's do a bit of panel beating, because as I said and complained about, with the sills of the car, the previous owner was using the sill to actually jack the car up on and absolutely bent and mangle the sill. So with a bit of help from a water pump pliers as well as a hammer, well, we managed to actually get the sill straightened. And we did this on both sides of the car, because the driver's side was actually worse off than the passenger side. Yeah, the sill was properly bent out of shape, and after a bit of banging and just mending, we actually, well, my father managed to actually get the sill straight. This is a drain hole to let water out here. Okay. That there. Yeah. So we can't close it. Right. That's it. Now the problem with us banging and hammering the sills out is the fact that it's chipping the paint. And honestly, with the chipping the paint, it becomes an eyesore. So what we're gonna do now is gonna paint some stone chip. As you can see on my father's VW Fox, we have black stone chip painted on the bottom of the sill. And to be honest with you, it doesn't look bad. So I think this is gonna be the next move for us, to just cover the bottom sill up with some stone chip and give it a bit more of an OEM or original look. So before we were able to just start painting the stone chip on, well, I need to sand down the sills. and using 220 water paper, I just gave it a light rub. I don't want to remove paint off it, but I just needed a bit of a rough surface for the stone chip to actually catch onto. So I just went through both sides and just gave it a light rub right through, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top, so the stone chip can be applied nicely. From there, we grab some masking tape to give us a proper line straight through to level off where we want the stone chip and block off where the white paint should remain. So it just marked off a straight line, and then we began to paint. Well, my father did. Because while he was painting the one side, I was on the other side just sanding and prepping it for the stone chip to then go on. And once he finished with the other side, well, this is actually what the stone chip looked like once it was finished. So, as you can see, there's a bit of reflection in the paint, and honestly, it's not looking bad at all. I'll be 100% honest with you here. I was a bit skeptic of painting the sills, but honestly, the way it turned out, I couldn't be happier. So with the sills now drying, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to install the rear mud flaps. Now when it comes to installing the rear mud flaps, well, this you're gonna have to drill into the bumper. Yeah, I was not happy about it, and I didn't even get any shots of it because it was painful to watch. And like, look, we drilled into a bumper, we got our holes lined up, and then we proceeded to use the same screws with speed clips exactly like the fronts, but it is a bit more difficult to actually get your hand in to get the speed clip behind it. So hence why my father's tightening the screw and I'm holding the speed clip, because there's really not much space behind or where the bumper is, where the speed clip needs to go onto to actually hold the screw on. But after some time, we did manage to get it on and it was secure, and we still had time to then clean the rear wheels. As you can see, we just grabbed a bit of cleaning chemical, green sponge, using the soft side of the sponge for obvious reasons, and just giving the wheel a once over. Now, I know when I first released the first video of bringing the Fox home after paint, yeah, people were not a fan of the wheels. But to be honest with you, it's kind of growing on me the longer they are sitting on the car. But I'm still on the fence. Let me know what you think of them in the comment section down below. Should I keep them or swap them out for another set of wheels? And if so, what wheels instead of these? Let me know in the comment section. And hey, you never know, the wheel you pick might be the next wheel to go on the car. So I think I'm just gonna wrap it up here. So these are all of the visual mods that we have put on the car for the first time, and honestly, I'm a big fan on how the mud flaps are looking. So I'm gonna wrap it up here by saying thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your festive season, stay safe on the roads, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.